Welcome, y'all.
Hey, Sherri.
Hey, Tammy. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am doing great.
2 more weeks till you get to see your granddaughter.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I mean, by the time this comes out,
Yeah, I'll
you'll
probably
be there or have already seen her maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. That's so exciting. I got to go a couple weeks ago to see my grandson.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was just a short, like 1-day thing, but
Look, it's always...
you take what you get.
And look, 3-4 days is about all I got in me for traveling.
I don't mind, like, it's the actual traveling part that bugs me. Like, he lives pretty close, within like a 4-hour drive.
Yes.
And that's about it for me. But he is coming for almost a whole month in July.
I know. I love that for you. You get them for your birthday time.
Oh
every
my
year.
gosh. I'm so excited.
I just have, my people are so scattered.
Yeah. Yeah.
That whenever I'm with one, I want to go see the others.
Yes.
And it's just...
You want them to all be just like, can we just one time all get together?
It has happened in the last 15 years, maybe 3 times.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, whenever you've got one in the military and you get another one in college and you get another...
They're in different states.
They're in different states, have different vacation times.
That's my favorite time, when I can get all my kids here, you know? And I don't have all that many. Like, you have people all over the place. So.
Yeah, I have one in London, one in New York, granddaughter in Utah, and then all over Louisiana.
Yeah.
So it's a thing.
Yes, it is.
All right.
So you got a story?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Which your face is... Oh, by the way, we're not on camera today. We do not have a camera switcher. So don't go run to YouTube unless you want to go subscribe and watch some of our other videos.
Oh, yeah. And there's plenty there.
Yes, there are.
So what you drinking today?
I am drinking sparkling ice water. No alcohol.
Yeah, we are doing a very early recording today.
So y'all have heard me talk about OPP. That's what we have on Friday evenings. We call it Old People Party because we go to bed like by 8:30. But we get together. We have a few drinks. Harold cooks some delicious food. And right now it's about 2:00 in the afternoon. So if I want to make it to OPP, I cannot drink right now. What are you drinking?
I am drinking Bloom energy drink. It's a healthy energy drink.
Have you ever poured it in a glass and added vodka to it?
Yes.
How is it?
It is fantastic.
But today you're your own DD. So
I am my own DD and I've got to get a workout in between now and bedtime.
Good for you. I will not be doing that.
Yeah. Well,
I am doing stretching. I'm doing stretching.
proud of you for that.
It's little, but it's something.
Yeah. I just have to move or I get like
stiff,
all kinked up.
Yes.
And my job is a sitting job.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, we're caught up.
Yeah. Okay.
If you're new to the show, this is Grits with a Side of Murder. We talk about murder. We drink alcohol, although we're not today. We laugh.
A lot.
Yes. So welcome.
Welcome,
And
y'all.
Sherri's going to tell us a story today.
I am. Okay. And I'm in a weird mood because like we talked about off camera, I'm kind of in the midst of my own true crime case.
Yes, you are.
There has been an arrest. There is a huge bail. But there's a lot of like trauma all around on this. So I went looking for people who survived.
Oh, okay.
And I was going to do like a 3 or 4 different person story, but this first one put me down a rabbit hole.
And there you went.
And there I went. So
off
the
to
one.
the races.
Yes.
Okay.
So I called it Picking the Wrong One.
Picking the wrong one?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'll write down, and we'll have that as the title.
Okay. On July 15th, 2015, we're not going to get too much into, what was going on at the time, but this was before Harambe. This was before Trump became president the first time.
Okay.
In Charleston, West Virginia, and that's the largest city in West Virginia. But it's tiny still. It's only got like 50,000 people in it. So it's less than a quarter of what Baton Rouge is. And Baton Rouge is not a metropolis.
No.
So it's smaller than Jacksonville, smaller than Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
It's not that big.
It's probably, I don't know. I think Prairieville, where I live, and the surrounding area might have like 30 to 40,000.
Yeah.
So maybe Charleston's kind of like that,
My city has 20 in and about 20, 25 in the unincorporated area. So we're
pretty
we're right
much.
there. So it's not that big of a city. West Virginia is sparsely populated. There's no income. It's poor.
I just want to say Mountain Mama every time you say West Virginia. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. If Stump were here, he would do it. So I'm not going to do that to you.
Yeah, I just keep thinking about the whites.
Oh, the TV, the Wonderful Wild Whites or something.
The Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia.
Yeah, that was a crazy show. I watched it. Okay.
Okay, so back down to where we're at. Heather Saul.
SAW?
Saul. Saul.
Okay. Better call Saul.
Mm-hmm. Was preparing to meet a client that had responded to her Backpage ad.
What was her Backpage ad?
Like most Backpage ads, she was a sex worker.
Okay.
And because of something I read in this, a lot of y'all may not know what Backpage is. It was Craigslist. Sex workers used to advertise on there. Backpage came along to be a competitor of Craigslist, and then it kind of mostly went to sex hookups, meetups, and sex workers.
Kind of like the Tinder of yesteryears. I don't know. Tinder's a hookup site, right?
Yeah, Tinder's pretty much a hookup site. But
this was for money.
This was a lot of it was for money. Some of it was just people, hey, will you come put an electric battery cable onto my nipples and call me Papa? Yeah. I mean, some of it was kind of weird stuff, but it was also, hookers.
Specializing in the kinks.
Yeah. So, but Backpage was seized in 2018. I went on a rabbit hole on that. I was like, wait, I haven't heard about this in a long time.
I never even heard of Backpage. When you said Backpage ad, I was thinking like literally in like a little leaflet, booklet, some type of printed, magazine or something.
Yeah, this was supposed to kind of, the back section of classified newspapers used to be like personal section.
Right.
And so that was kind of what it was.
So this was the internet version.
The internet version.
Gotcha.
So it got seized in 2018, and the CEO pled guilty to charges of conspiring to facilitate prostitution and money laundering.
He's a pimp.
Yeah. So that's why we haven't heard from it, about it in the last little bit. So anyhow, Heather was a beautiful, tough woman, and she had been working off and on as a sex worker for a few years at this point. She also cashiered. She worked at gas stations. She did whatever she needed to put food on the table.
Right.
Normally, when she had a date, Heather's friend would wait on the porch of her little house.
All right.
Just to, keep her safe.
Yeah.
Just to be like an ear witness in case anything went sideways.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
That's smart. Which is kind of what makes prostitution dangerous, is that if it's under wraps, then you can't keep yourself straight.
Well, do you remember the girls, the Long Island? I can't remember the name of the place that they lived. All those girls they found out in the marsh.
Oh, yes.
They had drivers. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, still no guarantee.
Still no guarantee. Not all of them had drivers.
Oh, okay. I thought most of them
but
had
that
drivers. One
that kind of led to everybody being, we'll visit that in a little bit.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, this day, Neal Falls, who's a short, stocky man, he was her date. He shows up at about 3 p.m. and Heather's dog runs off.
Oh.
So Heather's friend, who was on the porch, went out after her dog.
Okay.
After he gets inside, Neal was asking if anyone else was there. He seemed a little nervous about being there. Not unusual. Middle-aged guy going to see a hooker. He wants to make sure he's not getting set up.
Probably married, Yeah.
Yeah. And so he looks in the bedroom and checked to see if anybody was hiding anywhere, kind of thing. And Heather walks up toward the sofa, and Neal comes behind her, and he puts a gun right in the side under her ribs, and he says, "Live or die."
Oh, my God.
Yeah. That was an abrupt change. Okay. And this started the biggest fight of Heather's life. Abuse is an occupational hazard in this line of work. But to her, this was not the same. She said he knew how to control me. You know, I know how to fight, and he knew how to control me.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking maybe it had something to do with how much he wanted to. Maybe other guys that were in there.
How much he wanted?
He wanted to hurt her.
Oh.
Like how driven he was.
Okay.
It's like, I'm not scared of an alligator because food's too easy for them. They're not going to fight for food. They're not going to chase you.
Right.
But, you know, maybe it was kind of like that. Maybe other guys, it was just a kink.
Oh, and he's like, seriously, I'm looking for somebody to...
I really want to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
Okay. So he drug her around the house by her throat, strangling her. But instead of wearing out, the amount of fight that Neal had made Heather fight even harder. She knew she was going to die if she gave him an inch. So she was
tenacious,
wild and tenacious. And he was trying to lead this fight out to the back door. Because I guess she had a little house.
I would think that he would want to keep it inside so neighbors wouldn't be alerted. But he's trying to get her outside.
Yeah.
And did you say he was like stocky? Did you say he's short?
And stocky.
Okay. She must have been tiny then.
I don't think she was that tiny. And I think she might have been, now she was skinny.
Yeah.
But I think she might have been a little tall because he wasn't stupidly short, but to her, he was short.
Okay.
So she might have been like my size.
Yeah.
Where a lot of average guys look a little short to me.
Yeah.
But she wasn't as, you know, I'm a little thick.
You're not thick.
Okay. So they fell down on the floor between the living room and the kitchen, and she's begging him to let her breathe, just one breath.
I'm assuming he didn't.
He didn't want to. He grabs her throat even harder, and she sees her little poop rake that she uses to go clean up after Fancy in her front yard.
Great weapon.
It was leaning up against the door frame in her kitchen. And so she grabs it and she starts to swing it at him, and he starts wrestling her for this rake. And he gets up and he's dragging her up by her neck, has his arm around her throat, you know, and she's kind of facing away from him. Well, she sees he set the gun down to wrestle that from her. So she picks that gun up and she shoots it over her shoulder and starts running away and shoots it again because she thinks he's still coming after her.
Go Heather. So,
yeah.
Did she manage to hit him?
She did.
Nice.
She did. Okay, so she runs out into the alley behind her house and she starts screaming for help. Neighbors call 911. Cops get there. When they first got there, the cops assumed this was probably a drug deal gone wrong. Or that she owed a dealer. And that dealer came after her because, you know, of course, sex workers means drug addict.
Well, I'm thinking she must not have lived in a very good part of town if they're just automatically jumping to that conclusion.
And I think they knew she was a hooker.
Oh, okay. Maybe she had a little bit of interaction with the police before.
Or she might have said she was a hooker.
Maybe so.
Because this woman is scared of nothing.
Okay.
And she will tell you, like she told them, hey, I do drugs when I feel like it, but I don't have any drugs right now.
She will tell you how the cow ate the cabbage, right?
Every time. You know, but she was not an addict. She was just a woman that had been on her own pretty much since she was 14. She did graduate high school.
Scrapping and doing what she can to survive.
And she's like in her early 20s. So she graduated high school. She did a year of community college, but she left because she was going to need to take out student loans.
And she didn't want to do that.
And she didn't want to do that. And West Virginia is so economically depressed. It would have taken her a really long time to pay student loans back. Even with a degree, you're not making. Back then, the median household income in 2015 was only $23,000.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard to knock down your student debt if you're.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So the officers are a little bit stunned when they enter the house, signs of an obvious struggle. And Falls had almost gotten her out the back door. Because when she shot him and he slumped, his belt hung up on the doorknob.
Oh.
That was how close he was to getting her into the next location.
Wow.
And that's also probably why she thought he was still coming after her and shot him again, because he didn't plop on the floor.
Yeah.
She had never fired a gun before.
Wow. And she's firing it over her shoulder.
And she's firing it over her shoulder. She wasn't even sure if the gun was loaded because in this huge struggle they had, he never shot her.
Mm-hmm.
And she kicked him in the nuts. She hit him in the nose. I mean, she was really going at him. And just out of anger, you would think he would have said, pow, I'm done. I'm going to go to the next one.
Exactly.
Okay. And then they pat down the body looking for his ID and find 4 sets of handcuffs.
Okay. So I'm assuming him being slumped hanging by his belt on the door. He's dead.
She didn't just hit him. She blew his brains out.
Oh my gosh.
First shot did it too.
Wow.
When she just went, of course, he is around her neck.
Yeah.
And so his head was pretty close to hers.
That would have been scary. Like, would have been you might shoot yourself.
Just to hear it that close to your ear.
Yes.
And if you're not used to shooting, she was like, if the safety had even been on, I'd have been screwed because I don't even know how to take a safety off. I saw some interviews with her.
Okay.
The police interviews, not.
Right.
Yeah.
She wasn't doing the daytime talk show circuit.
She did very little after this.
Okay.
Very little. Okay. So they go outside and they search his car. On the inside of his car, they found a machete, 3 different axes of 3 different sizes. One of them looked useless. It was like almost like a toy. It was like a Viking 2-sided, like 14-inch axe. It was
plastic. Built out of
something
Legos.
You'd wear to the Ren Fair kind of thing. It didn't even look
cosplay knife.
Yeah, he had knives, assorted sizes and styles.
Okay,
a shovel, a sledgehammer, bleach, plastic bags, a bulletproof vest, plain socks, hiking boots, underwear, and a large plastic tote.
He had all the things.
And
on his person, you said 4 sets of handcuffs.
4 sets of handcuffs.
And then all the plethora of tools in the car.
And this was a full-blown kill, torture, and disposal kit.
Yes.
Okay, and I saw where Heather was interviewed at the station, and this chick is so tough. She seemed more upset and she was more traumatized by being put in the position to have to kill someone than almost dying herself.
Wow. How were the police treating her? With respect or
eventually with respect?
Or were they like, you're going to be arrested for murder? You know what I mean? Like,
well, I think that she was detained shortly for this interview.
All right.
She had to tell her side of the story. But the handcuffs and the kill kit were pretty good sign that this wasn't anything that she was in any way involved in other than the prostitution of it all.
Right.
Okay. And the cops, let her go pretty soon. And they had to convince her to go to the hospital to get checked out.
Wow.
She had some obvious contusions and lacerations after this big fight.
She's probably deaf in one ear, too.
Yeah. And she went and had a CAT scan and an MRI, and she had broken her back and dislocated her shoulder in this.
Oh, my. And she's just been interrogated by the police and everything.
Yeah. She's just trucking along.
Wow.
Okay.
She's a rock star.
She is. She did not want to stay in the hospital because she was worried about her dog.
Oh.
Fancy, Fancy had taken off.
Fancy was her name. So did the quote unquote friend that sat on the porch find Fancy?
We'll get to Fancy in a minute.
All right. Making sure Fancy's okay.
Actually, we can get to the Fancy right now. The friend did not find Fancy.
Oh, no.
So that night, Heather, all right, this all happens.
Like 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock, he shows up. At 3:54, I think he's pronounced dead by law enforcement.
An hour.
This is all in an hour. Then she goes to the police department, has an interview. Then she goes to the emergency room and gets checked out. And then she comes home and goes and looks for her dog.
Man.
By then it had to be dark. I know it's July and it doesn't get dark till late.
Sure.
And so she's walking around her neighborhood that's not the greatest.
Right. with a broken back and a dislocated shoulder. Well, they probably
hopefully
popped it back in.
Yeah. And so she just left some food out for Fancy and went ahead and went to bed. The next morning, she gets up and goes and looks for her again. And one of the neighbors comes out and said, hey, I found Fancy and I brought her inside and I kept her safe. So here she is. So Fancy's okay.
Good.
All right. So another thing they found in his car was
Neal,
a list of 6 more women who had advertised on that page. And so the cops are like, holy cow, we got to track these women down.
Yeah.
Tracked them all down. They're all safe.
Was she the first, or do we think there's some others?
She was the first.
Okay. I mean,
on that list.
I don't want to say thank God, but
she was the first on that list.
Wow.
Yeah. So she's okay. Shaken. And then the rest of them, he hadn't gotten to them.
Right.
So that's great. So anyhow, they start looking into him. The car has Oregon license plates.
Mm-hmm.
They start doing some checks on him. They realize he's been a little bit of everywhere. So they call in the FBI so the FBI can coordinate where this guy's been. Because this does not look like...
This is just not a West Virginia problem.
This does not look like it's going to be just a West Virginia problem. This does not look like his first rodeo.
Okay.
You don't start out killing by bringing that well-packed of a kill kit.
Did someone, whether it was the West Virginia authorities or the FBI, pull up his background to see if he had any arrests or anything?
They started pulling up his background.
Okay.
And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about this Neal Falls guy.
Okay.
He was born as one of 10 children in 1969.
Whoa. Nice big Catholic family.
I don't know if I don't know what he was. Okay. All I know is that the generation before ours had big families. Our generation, like if you had 4 kids, it was considered a lot.
Yeah.
And he's like our age.
Yeah.
Okay. So he was 45 when he died.
All right.
And that is literally all I know about his childhood.
Wow. Nothing. Can't find nothing.
There was a little bit about the dad being aggressive, whatever that means.
Right.
They didn't say dad beat mom and the kids. They said dad was a little aggressive to his children, to his wife. And what the heck? What does a 1970s dad being a little aggressive mean?
He was beating the shit out of her.
That would stand to reason. Okay, and then because there was no trial, we didn't get all of that mitigating testimony read into record. So we don't know.
Right.
There was nobody saying.
But he was abused.
Don't kill him because he was abused. Don't kill him because he had a brain injury.
Or maybe he wasn't at the level, mental capacity, intelligence level.
I think he was pretty normal there.
Okay. All right.
I think he was pretty normal on his IQ.
Okay.
Okay. Some friends said in high school he got into weaponry, which they were trying to make a big thing out of that in articles, but I don't think that's a big thing.
Mm-mm.
When you're poor, you're not getting into hot rods. You can't afford them.
Well, it's also like...
So it's like comic books or cool knives. It's like...
But you're not carrying that shit around the car with you. Like all of that shit.
No.
Unless you're going to a convention, then maybe you are. The
kill thing is different. But I'm talking like when he was at high school, he was into cool knives.
Yeah.
That's not a big freaking deal.
No, I don't think so either. Because I mean, like, I don't think you can walk around with a pocket knife today in school. But when I was growing up, every boy had a pocket knife. Yeah.
And before guys could drive, all of them were going to the flea market and getting the coolest knives.
Oh, those butterfly knives and all that. Yeah.
And heck, my husband will still go buy cool knives. Just because. So I think his parents eventually divorced.
All right.
In early 1992, Neal moves to Kansas and lives with his father until his father dies in 95. Okay. And so Falls moves back to Oregon from Kansas. There he starts a job as a security guard. In 1998, his fingerprints are entered into a national database for the first time.
So he's,
because of his security job.
Right.
In 2000, he moves to Nevada. And how are you supposed to say that? Is it Nevada or Nevada?
I say Nevada.
Okay.
But I also think it depends. Like, I think there are towns named Nevada in other states, and some of those people pronounce it differently.
Okay.
So I think it just
depends.
Yes.
All right. So,
but you're talking about Las Vegas.
Yes.
Nevada.
And so he works as a guard on the Hoover Dam. Kind of a cool job.
I would think so.
And as far as work goes, he settles in pretty good. He spends 8 years in the same position.
Nice.
All right. Meanwhile, he's kind of going off the rails in other areas.
He's sitting at his night shift job, just flipping that butterfly knife around, just constantly clack, 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 clack. Can you see it in your mind's eye?
And he's a little pudgy, and he doesn't
Yeah.
have much of a chin. So
clack, 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 clack. And it's not, I mean, you know, he's probably working a night shift. There's probably nothing going on at the damn dam.
Okay. But he got in trouble because he was caught abusing desert animals. I don't know what that means.
That's crazy because, like, if there's a scorpion, yeah, I'm going to kill it.
Yeah.
So,
See, like, Dave got in trouble when he was in the Corps because he shot a Sidewinder.
Oh, yeah.
When they were on maneuvers. Is that all it was?
I feel like you should shoot a snake. But
that's what he said.
Okay.
But they docked his pay.
But we do not know anything about what this guy
was abusing or how.
Yeah.
And so he got a little bit of trouble at work. Of course, he didn't get fired for that. I don't know how you would fire somebody for that. It's not like your contract says
I don't know.
You can't go to Arizona and mess with the wildlife.
I don't know. That's weird.
But he might have also been a federal employee working at the Hoover Dam.
Probably.
Okay.
That could have been the problem.
And so if he was on federal land, which a lot of out west is. So maybe. Okay. So, but he started hanging out exclusively with pimps and hookers when he was off. Again, I'm not totally sure if it's that weird.
Was he hanging out with them like their friends?
Yes.
Or was he hanging out with them like paying for services?
I think eventually paying for services, but he was friends almost exclusively with pimps and hookers.
Wow.
But then again, this is Vegas. It's going to be pimps, hookers, or card dealers or waitresses. I mean, there's a handful of jobs that you toss a rock and you're going to hit.
True.
That's in them.
True.
So I don't know how weird that is. But then it gets a little weird in the mid-aughts. So, between 2000 and 2010. So in the mid, he started doing sex tourism in the Philippines.
Like he would go there and be part of the sex?
Yes. We talked about Valo's brother did this in Colombia. He would go there to use hookers.
Yeah.
In the Philippines.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking, you're in a state where it's legalized under certain conditions.
Right.
Why would you fly that far away to use a hooker?
It must be children or something like that.
It's got to be something freaky deep.
Yeah.
Something that is so bad that if it was legalized and your victim could go to the authorities, they can't go to the authorities in the Philippines because it's illegal.
Yeah.
It's a huge problem there. Like 40% of all foreigners that come to the Philippines are coming there.
Really?
For the purposes of sexual tourism.
That's terrible.
That is terrible. Okay. Yeah. And I was thinking, is it just the price difference? Like,
but then you've got to factor in the price of a flight.
Right.
And also, you have to get your passport and you have to eat while you're there and stay somewhere while you're there.
It's crazy.
So there's, if you're looking at the whole big picture, it's probably not a
huge price difference.
Yeah.
And that's what I was trying to figure out. Like, at what point would the hooker have to be cheap enough to accommodate for the flight? So it's got to be
something freaky deaky, like
something freaky deaky. That's the only thing I can figure. Okay. And at work, he gets in trouble for sexually harassing a coworker in 2008, and they give him a chance to resign, and he takes it.
Okay.
Okay. So this is shaping up to be a weird life.
Yes. He has some tendencies.
Yes, he does. For the next 7 years, he moves all over the country.
Just bebopping around.
Just bebopping
like
around.
Living out of his car or whatever.
He had residences in Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, and Oregon that we know of.
Wow.
He has something like 16 states that have stopped him for traffic violations. I haven't been stopped for 16 traffic violations in my entire life.
I haven't either.
I've been stopped 2 times.
He likes to drive fast
and no.
And he likes to pay for sex,
I guess. Okay, so, the FBI can track that he was here, here.
And see the things, that he's pulled over for.
Mm-hmm. And guess what?
Do tell.
Prostitutes have ended up dead wherever he went.
Oh.
This guy is at this moment suspected of 10 plus homicides.
Before Heather, obviously.
Before Heather. The kit that was found in his car matches a group of cases in Vegas. Several prostitutes disappeared, and 3 were found dismembered.
Wow. I wonder if any of those were his quote unquote friends.
I don't know.
They say you shouldn't shit where you eat, right?
Yeah. And this happened between 2003 and 2007.
He was busy.
And, around 2003, 2004, 2005, that's whenever he was taking those trips to the Philippines. So he had ramped up whatever weirdness was in his head right then.
Yeah.
And then the 3 that were found, they disappeared from Vegas, but their dismembered bodies were found in California, Nevada, and Illinois.
That's weird.
Mm-hmm. In 2014, a dozen sex workers vanished in and around Chillicothe, Ohio. I think I pronounced that right.
Sounds great to me.
It's a lot of letters. And it's only 2 hours away from Charleston. So we're talking the year before, 12 people went missing from a city that was close by.
And that's not counting the 10-something we think he's...
Well, part of these 12 women, they think he's a part of.
Okay.
And so that's why they say 10 plus, because who's going to pay for DNA testing on this guy?
Well,
who's going to pay for all the forensics that would say yes or no?
Do we think that all of the ones that we're talking about are sex workers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, all 12 are sex workers. And then sex workers go missing for a variety of reasons.
Yes.
Okay, so we got Missy Marie Saines. She was 25. She disappeared from Las Vegas March 12th. Her torso only was found wrapped in a black plastic bag and bed sheets in Las Vegas, just west of Las Vegas. The rest of her remains were found on a road leading to the Red Rock Canyon National Conservation Area, which is, a few hours away.
Yeah.
So, and I'm assuming, because I'm not seeing where exactly his kill kit fits in, but I'm assuming that they believe she was dismembered by axes.
Okay.
Okay. In 2003, in August, a 19-year-old prostitute, Jody Brewer, was discovered in San Bernardino, California, which sounds really far away from Vegas, but it's only 25 miles across the border.
Yeah, Vegas is pretty close.
Her torso was wrapped in plastic and identified by a hummingbird tattoo and an M. Further away, a little further away, investigators uncovered a sheet near Interstate 15 off-ramp near another national park.
I wonder if he still had his damn credentials and was maybe using them some kind of way. Because it sounds like there's a lot of federal
stuff. Yeah. Okay. Lindsay Marie Harris, 21-year-old sex worker, disappeared from her home in Henderson, Nevada in May of 2005. And at the end of May, Her legs were discovered
That's gross.
near the interstate in Illinois.
This dude. Neal, you can eat a bag of dicks.
And it was about 30 miles from a town where Falls held a firearms permit during that same time. So he had a connection.
He's just like peppering body parts everywhere.
And the legs weren't found together. They had to do DNA tests to find out it was the same person.
So are these women, have they been sexually abused or anything like that? Like you were saying, who wants to test his DNA, but is there anything, if they did test him, if someone did pay for him to be tested, would it definitely link him to some? Do they have DNA?
I am not sure.
So it wouldn't be worth it if there's no...
That's it. I mean, it could be there.
Yeah.
It could be a connection, but this costs money. Like one thing I would do if I got super, super rich is I'd pick a police department and fund DNA testing for a small town police department that just can't take care of these cold cases.
Right.
It costs money. People I don't like to pay taxes.
Right.
And it is hard to say, hey, we need to have a little pool over here of an extra $200,000 just in case we have to send things off to a lab.
Right.
Okay. So there was another one, another unnamed victim that had been submitted to authorities to match with Harris's DNA, but it doesn't look like it was Harris. So there was a connection to possibly Rex Heuermann that you talked about, the Go-Go Beach guy.
Oh, that's it. Yes.
25.
Well, he was way across the country, wasn't he?
Yes. From this. Well, actually, when you get...
Because he was like in Long Island or something.
When you start getting he's in Long Island, but now we're talking about Eastern Ohio.
Okay.
It's just New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio. That's like a 3.5 hour drive tops. And this guy's driving everywhere.
Okay.
And Heuermann didn't mind driving. So there was a little, it's weird. Anyhow.
It's very convoluted.
Megan Nicole Lancaster was last seen in Wheelersburg, Ohio, April 3rd, 2013. And she was supposed to run some errands and head back to her parents' place. I think this was the one that those errands were going on a date, and her parents knew what she was doing.
Okay.
2 days later, her car was found abandoned outside a fast food restaurant in Portsmouth, and her wallet was in the car. I think she's just missing. But because of the connections, they're pretty sure she's gone.
Yeah.
Holly Renee Logan, 27, was last seen in Columbus. And in July of 13, but she wasn't reported missing until December of 14. That one, to me, that's suspicious whether she's part of this group, because she was often gone enough that it took them 6 months to figure out she was gone.
That she was even gone.
Yeah. 22-year-old Jamie Malin Bowen was last seen in Columbus in April of 2014. She was walking from her sister's house to her parents' house.
And he got her.
At that point, I think the main reason why they put Logan in there is that Bowen and Logan were friends. So he might have did a twofer at the same point.
Wow.
Because they both went missing.
Right around the same time.
Okay. Charlotte Trago Chillicothe. I sure hope that's right. In May. Her roommate threw her out. She walked away. She was never heard from again. Tamika Lynch went missing on May 3rd, the same day as Charlotte Trago. 3 weeks after going missing, Lynch's body was found in a creek.
I feel like this guy had to have like a place where he was doing this, where he would take them from wherever
See, I wonder if that's where the parks.
Because it needed to be somewhere where somebody wasn't going to just roll up on him.
And his kit was a torture kit. And I'm just going to go through the last 3 names real quick because I wanted to say these girls.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Wanda Lemons, Shasta Himmelrich, Tiffany Sayre. And he was also a suspect in the I-70 murders, but I think that he's been kind of ruled out.
Okay.
Now, yeah, and I think that when he got him confined in that case, they were going, he brought that big tub.
Yeah.
He brought that big, like you put your Christmas tree in.
Yes.
Brought that. I think he has a place, or he has a place in mind to take them to.
Yeah.
Even if it's just in the woods someplace.
Yeah, agree. Because like if he was, let's just say he was living out of his car, he couldn't just kill someone. Like it wouldn't work. Somebody's going to catch you if you're doing that in a car.
Exactly. And he didn't kill Heather there. He could have killed her many, many times during that fight.
He was just trying to take her somewhere.
He was trying to take her somewhere. He wanted to he had another plan than death. It might have ended in death.
But
obviously.
He had shit to do in between.
He had shit to do in between. And you don't do the shit in between.
Yeah.
Because if it was just killing her, he could have done it right there.
Her. Yeah.
So if he was going to take her someplace, that's what I said. That kit was a torture kit too.
She ended a man. Who knows how many more?
Yeah, and because this is a list of at least 10. This has been under a decade. These women in Ohio, he's suspect of at least 12 in Ohio. That was just in a year.
Think about this. He was definitely trying to take her somewhere because number one, he went to her house.
Mm-hmm.
She had someone who would likely be sitting on the porch protecting her in a way.
Mm-hmm.
She probably had info on him, like a phone number or something.
Mm-hmm.
That he would not kill her right there. There's too many
connectors.
Too many ways that he could have gotten caught.
And like most serial killers, they count on the police considering hookers less dead.
Yes.
And not doing their due diligence.
Agree. Yes.
Because this guy, we know the serial killers start their late 20s or early 30s. This guy's 45.
Oh, yeah. He's been doing this a while.
Yeah. You don't wake up at 45 and do this.
He just happened to fuck with the wrong girl.
He did. And
good for you, Heather.
I don't know where she is now. She had a really hard time with the fame she got from this and people trying to come in and kind of control and manipulate her life. Somebody that left home at 14 and has been hustling ever since is not going to take kindly to somebody saying, this is what you need to do. I had a little blip that she did some advocacy work.
Okay.
Some
self-defense classes. It sounds like she could teach them.
She probably could. But, for women, to keep women safe, and especially women in the sex industry.
Yeah.
Nothing since then. There's like 35 Heather Sauls between New York and Alabama. She could be any one of those or none of them.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like to think that one of them is she's a wedding officiant and she has a chapel and like grounds to hold weddings on. And I kind of like to think that's her.
Oh, that would be cool.
I was sitting there looking at the faces and trying to figure out. It would be cool if her life went from this wild and crazy world to sweet and wonderful.
Yes, it would.
But Heather, you rock.
Heather, if you're listening, thank you for putting Neal in hell, which I'm sure is where he is rotting. Unfortunately, we didn't get the fun of getting him sentenced to death, but she took care of that.
She took care of that.
So you got some fans over here, Heather.
And I know that was a rough one, but it was a rough one with
somebody
made
a quote unquote happy ending.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
She made it and didn't get
I love that.
Like kept a sweet heart because she was so much more worried about, oh my God, I can't believe I had to kill someone.
Yeah.
than she was.
I would be like, he had it coming. You know, I probably wouldn't feel any.
Bring me the next sicko. I'm still mad. I'll
Right.
take care.
Y'all have anybody else here that you need? Yeah. Okay. I am going to ask you some trivia.
Okay.
True crime trivia. All right. So in this little, I don't have the website. I'm sorry where I found this, but they're ranking these from easiest to hardest.
Okay.
And there are a few that I think are easy, but I think they're all pretty challenging.
Okay.
Most of them are pretty challenging. This one's easy. I think the first two I'm going to ask you, you'll probably get. Robert Riesler coined the term serial killer while a member of the Criminal Apprehension Program in what organization during the 1970s?
The FBI.
That is correct.
And in, what was that show? The Blacklist? One of the characters in The Blacklist was named after him.
Oh, are we
Agent
taking
Wrestler?
Okay, I didn't.
The hot blonde guy.
I don't think I watched Blacklist. I know what you're talking about.
Spader.
I know which show you're talking about exactly, but
yeah.
I think Harold watched it, but I don't think I did.
It was a good show.
Yeah, he was like
female lead aggravated me. But
wasn't this the premise something like he was her dad or something in the long run? Could have been. Never knew. Okay.
Yeah.
Technically classified as a domestic terrorist rather than a serial killer.
Okay.
Timothy James McVeigh was an American who killed 168 people in what city?
It was in Oklahoma. Was it Oklahoma City?
It was.
Okay.
Good job. This one, I did not know.
Okay.
What Chicago-based book was released in 2003 and it simultaneously, say the word for me.
Simultaneously.
Followed the architecture of the 1893 World's Fair and the murderous rampage of serial killer H.H. Holmes. Did any of that make sense or should I reread it?
Yeah, reread it.
So what Chicago-based book was released in 2003 that followed a dual plot of the 1893 World's Fair and the murderous rampage of H.H. Holmes?
That one I have no clue, but they did coincide, so I don't know why.
Yes.
I don't know the name of the book.
It's called The Devil in the White City. Never heard of it.
Me neither.
You'll probably get this one. Ted Bundy is an American serial killer who rose to infamy during a string of 1970s atrocities. Bundy was eventually caught and legally killed via what method?
Was he lethal injection or was he electric chair?
I cannot tell you the answer until you tell me that you're...
Let's see.
What's your final answer?
Electric chair.
You are correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. This one I'd never heard of. The case of Bible John.
Okay.
Was an unsolved triple murder in Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
In which city did these crimes occur?
Okay. I'm going to have to get the wheels turning here because I remember a little bit about Bible John. I'm just going to say Glasgow.
You got it.
Okay.
You are doing great on this. All right. John Wayne Gacy Jr., a.k.a. the Clown Killer, was incarcerated and held on death row for 14 years in what U.S. state?
Oh, it's one of the I states, I think. Like
Indiana? It is one of the I states.
Was it Indiana?
Is that your final answer?
That is.
Illinois.
Okay.
All right. Known occasionally as the Angel of Death, Harold Shipman was the subject of the British investigation known as the Shipman Inquiry, which determined that there were at least 200 victims from the serial killer. During working hours, what profession was Harold Shipman?
A nurse.
He was a doctor.
Oh.
So close. All right. What 20th century American serial killer was known as the Milwaukee Cannibal or the Milwaukee Monster?
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yes, ma'am. This one, I've heard of her, but I don't think I would have ever gotten this one correct. In Illinois and Indiana in the late 1880s, a female serial killer murdered at least 14 people that she'd lured by placing marriage ads in local papers. Dubbed Hell's Bell, she only stopped killing when she died in a fire in 1908. Or did she? What was the name of the murderous mistress who some historians believe faked her death?
Oh, I can't remember her last name. Bell. Oh, she had German roots. So like Bell Koff or something like that.
Guinness. Yep.
She probably didn't die that day. Because another woman her age.
Oh, do you want to do a story
missing.
on Hell's Bell?
We may.
Okay. All right. Let's see here.
Yeah, I don't think she died that day.
Okay. Which serial killer claimed 11 female victims between 1962 and 1964 before he was eventually identified as Albert DeSalvo? So what they're wanting here is his moniker, his nickname. Which serial killer claimed 11 female victims betwin 1962 and 64?
I'm just going to say the Night Stalker because there was like 10 of them.
The Boston Strangler.
Okay.
Truman Capote's famous nonfiction work, In Cold Blood, describes a burglary and grisly quadruple murder by Richard Hickok and Perry Smith in what state?
Missouri?
Nope.
No.
You want to guess again?
Kansas?
Yes.
Okay, because I knew it was right in one of those little nothing but wheat field states.
And I don't know why this is such a hard question, because remember I told you they went from easy to hard, and this was like at the end. So this is the last one I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
I feel like you're going to get this. In which decade did serial killers in the United States peak? If they're measuring it by this, each serial killer is bucketed by the year of their first victim. So, which decade did serial killers in the United States peak, considering the fact that they start in the decade when they first killed?
I'm going to say the 70s. They were caught in the 80s. I was thinking maybe back it up, but yeah,
Yep.
the 80s.
You're so close. You are so close. Oh, that was not the last one. This one is the last one.
Okay.
And I love this one. Okay, the owl defense or owl theory was used in a famous murder trial by attorney Larry Pollard to explain the head wound of the female victim. This is highlighted in the true crime series, The Staircase. Do you remember that show?
Yes.
Who was the alleged human murderer in the case?
Oh, I can't remember his name.
Michael Peterson. That old.
It seems like maybe we should stay away from Petersons. Because that's 3 that have killed their wives in like a 10-year span that made national news. Just saying.
It's a pretty common name like Smith, so maybe.
But I think there's more Petersons that have made like documentary level murders than anything else.
Oh, well, I know some Petersons, so I keep an eye on them.
Yeah.
Oh my
Give them a little
gosh.
side eye. Don't turn your back.
Thank you for that story today.
You're welcome.
I love a survivor.
Oh, yeah.
Good one. Maybe you'll bring us Hell's Bell next time. You'll have to look and see.
Maybe it's going to depend on what mood I'm in that week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, folks, we loved having y'all. We need you to go to YouTube and subscribe. That's Grits with a Side of Murder.
We're nearly there, y'all.
We're over 900.
Yeah.
The last time I looked. Also, this I'm not going to say the Women in Podcasting Awards because this will be over by the time it comes out. But I need to record something to put up real quick because we have until the end of May to vote for the Women in Podcasting Awards.
Okay.
So if you're interested in ever voting for us, you can always go to our website and see if we're up for any kind of nominations.
Yes.
Go to Facebook, Grits Group, and Grits page. You can ask to be in the Grits Group, and you can join the conversation. And what am I missing? YouTube, subscribe. I think TikTok. I think we're on. I think I got everything.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We're Insta.
Insta. I'm trying to get, Antonio is having trouble, and I am too, getting my Instagram and my Facebook connected. So I know it's weird. I think it's because I have a personal page and a quote unquote business page, and it's confusing things.
Okay.
So, all right. We love you guys. I've been getting so many comments everywhere, like Spotify, YouTube, emails. Just keep them coming. We love it.
And we really do want your interaction. It's not like you're not being like fangirl stalky.
No.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Reach out.
Yes, indeed. Please do. And if you really want to help support the show, you can go to Patreon, Patreon/grits, and help us out there. It's always much appreciated. I can't talk and I'm drinking water.
She does better on whiskey.
Yes. It's amazing how I get up and tie my shoes every day. I don't know. All right. Anything else?
That's all.
All right. We love y'all. Tell your mom and them to listen, and we're going to let Zydeco Mike take us out.